Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day. I'm back with JustJarrod again. This is continuing the same interview. It's just a separate video. We just finished talking about kind of the things that you've done with No Man's Sky, your style, and various things that you're doing. Now I'd like to move on to talking about, well, kind of to go along with what I asked earlier, what is special about No Man's Sky that's allowed us to continue making content. What I think is probably one of the number one reasons is No Man's Sky's potential. I think as we play No Man's Sky, we just see this really strong potential for the game, and it kind of drives us crazy that they haven't tapped all of its potential yet, and that's why people get so excited about the next update, because they can tell that there's so much more that can be done with this game than what has already been done. So what do you think about that?
I think definitely the potential has got to be number one up there on the list, because it is. I don't think there's greater potential for any other game at this point, because in No Man's Sky when when Cobra has a subcast, or when anybody streams or talks about No Man's Sky, talks about what could come next, there's endless amount of ideas that come from people who play. Just today, before I went to sleep, so yesterday really, I was watching Game Mode live stream and the Hidden Panda Show live stream, both No Man's Sky, and both of them had ideas and things that they want to see that I had not have thought of after all this time, and which is insane. The amount of comments, the amount of speculation, the amount of just discussions that No Man's Sky content creators are part of all the time, to hear things that we have not heard or thought about. The possibilities are endless, and that, it's a cliche thing to say, but that literally is how No Man's Sky is. There's so much they can add, and the fact that they said that the next update is largely based on community feedback, it really puts us in community feedback. It's been almost a year. What have we been talking about that we want in the game? What are they going to put in the game? And we go back to thinking what have people been really asking for over the course of this year, because that's how that's the feedback that they're talking about. Is this year of feedback what we have been talking about is what they are basing this next update off of. I think the potential is completely what drives a lot of the ability to make videos on it, the ability or the people playing it, because we all fell in love with the idea and the game at launch. It's only more exciting to think about, to see what could come from just more time. And before the launch of the game, speculation was everybody's favorite videos. Everybody loved to just talk about the possibilities, and then people said that was false hype or whatever it may be. But in reality, it just allows ideas to be made, then conversations to be had, and then Hello Games hears about all this stuff, and then eventually they could possibly add it to the game. So it's not for naught. I mean, we're all talking and having a good time and sharing ideas, and one of the coolest moments I think on Cobra's subcast recently was when we were talking about hubs being added, or the possibility of hubs, and just talking about how cool it would be to have 4 or 5 people around. You're all doing your own thing. One person's farming. Maybe if you could build multi-tools eventually, one person's building a multi-tool, putting parts together. You have people coming to your hub to buy the multi-tools you're making. You have people hanging up pictures of screenshots they took in part of the base as a museum. There's so many cool things that could happen in this game, and even just adding co-op, adding simple additions to the game. I think really people are excited for it, no matter what is added. I made a joke a while ago where if they just added the ability to sit in chairs instead of swivel chairs, I'd be down for it. Just because anything, and any addition is a good addition.
Yep. One thing I'd like to ask you, I'm sorry, PlayStation 4 only. I've never gotten to play with any mods. You've played the Rayrod mod. Would you say, let's say that, let's just pretend, we know they're not going to do this exactly, but let's pretend Hello Games just copied the Rayrod mod and made it available on just made that the next update, for PlayStation 4, PC, and then whatever new platforms they're adding, which we'll get to in a bit. Would that be a good update, do you think, or would that not be enough if they just added tons of new biomes and different things to look at on planets? Would that be enough, or do we need more than that?
I think community-wise, it wouldn't be enough. I play Rayrod's mod more, like the last 2-3 weeks. I've played quite a bit of it. Before, I didn't think my PC could run it, but it can. I play creative mode on Rayrod's mod because it's easy to do time lapses, and that's really all I do is make time lapses with Rayrod's mod. I do explore, but I don't play the actual game. Like, I don't play normal mode or any of that. I rarely play normal mode on PS4, No Man's Sky. I fell right into playing creative and looking for cool creatures. That was like my main goal for a bit now. I think Rayrod's mod is fantastic. Honestly, it gave me the chills, just like I got when I booted up No Man's Sky for the first time. Being able to see things that I'd never seen before, 100%. Where there was new trees, there was grass. The grass is in 4K on his mod. It looks nice, just like the old trailers. There's huge creatures. There's really dense fog and the possibility of ringed planets and procedurally generated cave systems that could have trees in them, and they could be underground, almost paradises. And the creatures are humongous. The underwater creatures are large. But I don't think it would be enough for the community if they were to just be like, hey, Rayrod, let's use your mod on PlayStation. And that would be the next update, because as far as I know, it doesn't add tons of like gameplay opportunities. Yeah. Like, people want multiplayer, and something that I definitely want is like a revamp of how progression works. Like, because right now it's just solely based upon getting more units, basically.
Yep.
And in Rayrod's mod, I haven't played normal mode. I know he changed up some of the mining materials, and you can mine some of the minerals that, like Omegon on planets and things like that, which you can't do in No Man's Sky, but it's generally the same. He didn't add any gameplay features, I don't think. Just like different ways to do the things that we already can do, and then adding more variation. And he's got over 2,000 biomes added that he created himself, which that's the reason I play, because of the variation is why I play his mod, and that's what I want in the next update for No Man's Sky. It's just variation. But I think if it were only variation, it would turn off a lot of people, because a lot of people do play it for the gameplay and play it for, not everybody's an explorer, basically, like me. So I think just Rayrod's mod won't be enough for everybody, if that were to be the case. But I do believe it is almost like, Rayrod says he wants to make his mod like the E3 trailers. He wants to make No Man's Sky look like the E3 trailers, and it has the UI from the E3 trailers, and it has the menu system and all that, and it does good doing what his vision is, as far as E3 goes. It looks amazing, and it plays very well, and if you're an explorer, I definitely recommend playing the mod, because that's, the reason I play generally is exploration. But it doesn't add gameplay features, that I think the community really wants, whether it's more story, whether it's cool. I mean, he does, in Rayrod's mod, he does have like cool new like alien monoliths and things like that, that he's still working on. He's adding features to them currently, which I came across one yesterday, and which was really cool. But it's not like prime gameplay features. Like, there's no co-op, there's no multiplayer, A lot of the stuff people want in the next update aren't in his mod. It's just mainly variation driven. So once No Man's Sky Next releases, I think it's going to have to be variation driven as well as gameplay driven in some sort of way. Whether it's adding multiplayer, adding a bit of variation here and there. I think it almost needs to have both, because if they want to continue this play your way style, they have to update every way you can play, or they're gonna leave some players out.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think they should work on planetary variety, but I understand that that's not enough for it to, really make the game, more of a game that a lot of people are going to want to play. And we know that new multiplayer features are coming, because they said right after Atlas Rises that this is just the beginning of co-op, and we're working on a better synchronous co-op and things like that. So we know they're going to be adding more multiplayer, but then that adds the other problem with multiplayer as well. If all they did was just create synchronous multiplayer, I don't know if it was you, but I know some people have said that if they just added multiplayer, if they made it so that we could see all the same things at the same time, there really still wouldn't be much gameplay. There wouldn't be much that we could do together. We could, build sculptures together with the terrain manipulator. That would be cool. We could fight and kill sentinels and space pirates together, but that really would just be a novelty, I think. It wouldn't really be enough for there to be a lot of multiplayer gameplay. So I'm going to give one of my ideas that I've come up with for how they could improve multiplayer gameplay, and then I'll let you give some of your ideas. So I've got this idea where, another thing that Cobra's been talking about is they've got this guy, Sam Swain, that could probably use his technology that he's developing to create dungeons in No Man's Sky, procedural dungeons. And I think that's a great idea. And my idea to go along with that would be, let's say they took, instead of having ruins, or in addition to the ruins that we already had, they would add dungeons that are like the same style of ruins, but they would be like these big mazes that are underground, or maybe they're like a structure that you can go into and it's a maze. And so you go through this dungeon, and it wouldn't really require multiplayer, and I don't even know if there would be enemies in it, but you'd go through the maze, and then when you get through the maze, you'd eventually find, like, a chest or something, and I know you like loot, so that would be a way for them to put kind of a loot in the game. And what you would get from these treasure chests, instead of being something worth money, or at least I think they should add collectibles, like relics that we can get from these treasure chests. Like they'd be a little trophy, like maybe about the size of, say, an Oscar trophy, and you would not be able to sell them at NPC shops. And that kind of goes along with your idea that everything shouldn't be about units. There should be other rewards besides just units. You wouldn't be able to sell them to NPCs, but they would basically be an ingredient for building in your base, so that you could place them in your base if you have one in your inventory. So you place these little trophies in your base, and then you can show them off to people. And there'd be like, let's say, 100 of these different little trophies. And for example, there could be like a statue of Nada, or a statue of Polo, or a statue of Null, or a statue of Herc, or various other things, maybe statues of different types of travelers, or just little, Gek statues, or whatever. And so there'd be all these different collectible things, and some of them would be more common than others. Like you could get more than one of the same statue, and of course this isn't really a new idea. MMOs often have this. They'll have like a house or base building where you get these special collectible items that you can place to show off in your house or whatever. But the important thing is, and another thing that they would need to add is trading between players. Make it so that we can trade items for money. And so these collectible statues would be something that players could sell to each other, since it would only be possible to get them by exploring these dungeons, and some of them are super rare. So, you know, they could sell for like 1 million units or whatever if one type of statue is really rare. And of course there would be completionists that would collect all 100 little trophies and arrange them on shelves in their base and have them all to show off to people. So that's just my idea. It would create a player economy, because even if they did just add player trading, there wouldn't be much point to buying things from other players that you can just collect yourself. But if they make these much more rare items that can't be sold to NPCs, I think it would be a way to create a player economy and a way to interact with other players that way. That's just one idea I have. So what do you think? What features should they add to the game that would actually enhance gameplay and enhance multiplayer if they do give us a full synchronous multiplayer?
Well, the fact that you brought up relics, artifacts, or whatever it may be, was something I had pitched to Cobra, I think, on one of his subcaps. The subcast I met Keep Calm and Game on, actually, we shared a few ideas that I wrote down in my little notebook here, about adding some kind of procedurally generated collectibles. Because I was like, I'm not a game designer, but they've procedurally generated an entire universe. How tough could it be to procedurally generate some collectibles?
Yeah.
Right, where maybe you're flying in space and you get like a ping on your ship, and it's like this hot or cold game where you get near the one planet where it is, and you get like a ping that's faster, and then you get like an area to search, and then eventually down dark in this super deep cave you'll find a relic or something like that. You could pick it up and put it in your base and show it off or whatever it may be. And that right there would give, like you were saying, dungeons, that would give reasons for caves to even exist. Because right now, caves are just endless confusion and pointless almost to a point unless you're just exploring. And I remember back in the day when Sean Murray said in pre-release stuff, like, every time he found a cave, he loved going down there to see who's at the end. Well, that makes no sense right now because there's nothing ever there at the end of caves. So what was he talking about? It's kind of something I always go back and think about. Was there an idea to put stuff down there? And I think that relic system, being able to maybe trade a relic with another person's relic, if you guys have different ones that you want to switch off or whatever it may be, that is insane. That's just a great idea, because like me, for sure, if that was in the game now, and there was, let's say, even if there's like, there's 16 glyphs, right? I think, you know how long it took people to find all those glyphs? It took a lot of time. I mean, there's a lot of glitches and like hacks to do it almost, but if even they just added 16 of them, the amount of time it would take to find them, considering the universe is so large, I think if they were to add something like that, they would have to make them, like you said, they would have to have different, like some that are common, and some that are super rare. That way, when you find some, you're like, okay, cool, it is a possibility, and then that hooks you into like going to find the harder ones. And I would definitely be that collector to go and find them all, because that is exploration. That encourages exploration, because you're getting at least something, even though it's not anything of monetary value, but you're getting something that you can share, something you could look at and marvel at and be like, hey, I remember when I got that, or something. That is a fantastic idea. Whether or not that's going to be something they end up doing, I know they've talked about, there's that rumor out about procedural dungeons or whatever, that I've been hearing. So I mean, anything, like I said, is a possibility. As far as other things that would encourage multiplayer, you're 100% correct in saying, like, if there was multiplayer in the game right now and they didn't add anything but being able to see and maybe trade with other people, I would maybe jump into multiplayer maybe go see Cobra, go see all the content creators, make like a collaborative, cool video with everybody, and then go back to playing Rayrod's creative mode, because there's nothing exciting really about, like, if you have player models and you could see a person, cool. If you could trade with them, cool. But there's nothing to do with that person that we haven't done hundreds and hundreds of times over on our own. I think being able to fly with somebody in space and embark in like ship like conquests and taking down pirates, you know, they always talked about you can be, you know, a bounty hunter and hunt bounties, hunt pirates. Yes, you can do that, but I don't know of a lot of people who play that way or just play for the sake to do that. I think that whole gameplay style could be fleshed out if you had a crew, you know, 2 or 3 people flying around, and they kind of fleshed out the whole bounty system a bit better, made it more exciting or action-packed or more rewarding rather than, once again, just units. Maybe like being able to pieces of the ships that you destroy, you get scraps or something like that, and then this goes into the whole upgrading your ship idea that I had, where upgrading your ship isn't just install a shield. It's different materials that you can get that you can use to enhance the defense, or you can use to enhance like your maneuverability. So you can customize a ship that you like the look of to kind of play how you want it to play, or fly how you want it to fly. Whereas having to specifically find a fighter ship, or having to specifically find a cargo ship, and then having to re-upgrade a whole nother ship, just solely based on the fact that, you know, it's the kind of style you want. If they have all these materials in the game, all these mining stuff, all this stuff to craft, but almost none of it is used except for selling. If all of it, you know, if rare material, that's another thing, just rare material. Like all the mining things in the game, they are easy to find, basically, except Omegon, really. Omegon, I still barely found anything. I mean, you have to buy it, first of all.
Yep.
You can't just find it. So, if they were to make, you know, different things, different materials that were actually rare or hard to find, player-wise, like they were hard for players to come across them. You know, they weren't selling in stores. They were hard. But you could find them on planets. Don't make them like Omegon, where you have to buy them. Make it so you can't buy them, you have to find them. That way work is put into finding them. But when you find these materials, you can use them to actually better yourself, your ship, your multi-tool, rather than just basic upgrades, which is what we have now, which is great. I mean, that's fine. But being able to like kind of fine-tune what you have to make your ship stand out just a bit from other people's, and what other people are doing, to craft your playstyle a little bit more. I think that would be really cool. And then that goes to the whole multiplayer. If you're flying around with your buddies in space, you have a goal. You know, you want to get the scrap, you want to get the chance to get these rare materials off these ships that you're destroying to better your own ships. And then if you could trade amongst each other, you guys are trading different materials because maybe somebody wants to upgrade their ship, you know, for fighting, and the other person wants to upgrade it to be able to carry more. So they're trading all these materials back and forth, and they just go out throughout the universe, you know, wrecking havoc to, you know, either doing bounties or just destroying ships that are flying around. And then if they add that, like, if you're able to fly with people and just shoot down civilian ships, which I think should be a playable, like a gameplay option, because why not? I think if they do that, they need to add in more varied, like, sentinel ships or different things that come after players who do that, but don't make it impossible where you send a sentinel freighter and it just never leaves, or whatever. I don't know if that's exactly how it still is. I remember that's how it used to be, where it was basically impossible once you anchored the sentinels too much. So I think that would be, I don't do ship combat right now, but if I was able to fine-tune my ship, fine-tune maybe, like I use the cyclotron ballista upgrade when I'm in space combat, be able to like upgrade that using materials to kind of change, like maybe like the the width of the shot or something. Just doesn't have to be something huge, just something really minute, but it allows you to kind of have a personality with your ship and to change it and make it different from other people's, rather than just having to go buy a completely new ship to be different. And spend all the units, all the upgrade time, all the, you know, the reordering upgrades and making sure all the slots are next to each other. Be able to just fine-tune your multi-tool, your armor, and all that would add a lot, especially if there's multiplayer, because then you could have just teams of people, just people walking around having a good time, but there is a common goal at some point. So you have, like, you'll end up having these groups of people who want to do hubs and, like, have farms that people can visit and, you know, farm materials and collect units, because that'll still be, I'm sure, an important factor, is units, obviously. And then you have people who maybe we've created a new gameplay style called relic hunting, who knows? And then you've got that group of people, and then you've got the ship combat group of people. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's got their own groups. That's just going to expand on the community so much more. We'll have people making websites and communities and fan sites just for relic hunting or something like that.
Yep.
And I think, you know, it's mind-blowing when you think of all the stuff that they could do. But yeah, your idea with the relics, or the mixture of people's ideas, that's awesome. I like the ship and the progression kind of thing, because, you know, if you could teamwork to progress, I think that's a lot better than doing it solo. And it's a lot more exciting when it's like action-packed, of course. If you're like searching dungeons for relics or fighting in space with a bunch of friends, I think that'll definitely bring more people to the game, for sure.
Yep. And one more thing I'd like to talk about. I'm going kind of off script here. I hadn't planned on asking this before, but it came to me. I'd like to talk a little bit about the launch of the game on Xbox. First of all, what do you think when it launches on Xbox? What is that going to be like? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people that buy it and are disappointed because it wasn't what they expected? Or is it going to be really good? And is No Man's Sky going to like completely move past the original negativity? Will it be like a true relaunch where suddenly everybody that plays it likes it again and there's no more people thinking that it was ever a bad game? Or is it going to be like another disaster kind of thing? Because I think it could probably go either way. I don't think it's going to be like I definitely think it's going to be big. When it comes out on Xbox and Tencent Wii game, I think it's going to be a really big thing. But I don't know if it's going to be a really big positive thing or if it's going to be a somewhat negative thing again. What do you think about that?
I have multiple opinions. As far as player-wise, if the game releases on Xbox, or when the game releases on Xbox, if players hate on it for whatever reason, I don't actually know. Let me rephrase that. I don't think players will hate on it. I think most people will go into purchasing No Man's Sky knowing what had happened already. Because when you think of the player base right now, it's a lot of older people who play No Man's Sky. I rarely meet anyone who's younger than me who plays No Man's Sky. There are a few people who are active among the No Man's Sky community who are younger than me. But I think most people who buy this will be older, my age, whatever it may be. They know what has happened with No Man's Sky, and they know that the game failed like it did because there was quote-unquote nothing to do. Now there is so much to do that I don't even do everything, is basically what I'm saying. And I covered the game on YouTube. I haven't done everything, well, for the most part. Like, I haven't owned, like, you know, the crazy max slot ships, the max slot. I've only owned one freighter. You know, there's things that I haven't done because that's not how I play, but there is so much to do now, where that argument of there's nothing to do is completely invalid. There is so much to do. So I think people who buy this game will definitely go into it knowing now that it's going to cost $50. Wait, did they say? Yeah, it's going to cost $49.99 still when the update releases
for Xbox.
So they're not going to. Yeah, they're not going to just jump into spending $50 when they know the history. If they buy the game for $50 and they know the history, I think they 100% think they're going to enjoy the game. Based off of what it is right now, there is so much to do. And this is without an update that's been worked on for a year. So I think community-wise and new player-wise, the reaction's going to be positive, and I think that it's going to bring a lot more people to the game. When it comes to media-wise, and like news outlets, right now there's no negative articles on No Man's Sky. When it was announced for next, I mean, there's always like the beginning of the article, like, you remember that game that failed completely 2 years ago? There's always that. But like, I think it was Polygon or maybe PC Gamer who did an article where they talked about No Man's Sky is their best, one of the best games of the year because of the updates, because of what the developer studio has done, for free. All the stuff they've, completely passed what they promised, quote unquote promised. So all the articles I see are positive based. To go back and start hating on it again once an update comes out that's humongous, that has all this stuff in it that was never promised for free, I think if media hates on it, it's not going to catch on, basically, as much as it did the first time. I think right now, honestly, which is kind of weird, I checked this recently, a lot of the drama channels who talked about No Man's Sky in a bad way don't even make videos anymore. A lot of them fell off because the drama of YouTube, the year of that, is completely gone. I mean, there's still a lot of negative stuff on YouTube, but I don't think it's going to catch on like a wildfire of negativity once it releases on Xbox. There probably will be some people, who are going to come back, oh, hilarious, No Man's Sky on Xbox One, nobody plays that game, blah, 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 and it's going to come back a bit, but I don't think it's going to be anything even close to as serious as it was before, now that we have an actual strong community around the game right now. Not that it's ginormous or anything, but people, I think, will see, wow, these people have kept up with the game for 2 years, and it must be something. Nobody puts time into something that they don't like.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think the dark days are done. It's never going to ever be as bad as it was when it first launched. There was just, one of the laws of physics is energy cannot be created or destroyed. People cited that when the No Man's Sky launch happened, that there was so much positive energy, all of the hype before the game came out, and then it all turned into negative. So the energy couldn't be destroyed, it just had to be converted into a different type of energy. But now we don't have as much hype energy. People are getting hyped for the next update, but it's mainly just hype among the community that loves No Man's Sky. It's not really hype among, everybody, all these 250,000 people that bought the game at launch and all that. And I've looked on the Xbox subreddits and such, and there are people that are like it's a mostly positive response on the Xbox crowd. They're kind of like, oh yeah, I heard that game's not too bad now, it's had a lot of updates. Of course, some people are like, yeah, no way I'm going to pay $50 for that. They're trying to fool us again and stuff. But a lot of people are like, yeah, I'll try it. Or some people are like, I'll wait till the price goes down a bit and then I'll get it. So it's a mostly positive response from the Xbox crowd, which I think is really good. And then the last thing I want to talk about is related to that is I'm really looking forward to when it comes out on Xbox, because we'll have more members of the community, and specifically more YouTubers, kind of drawing back to the original topic. I bet there's going to be a lot more No Man's Sky YouTubers that play on Xbox. And I've always been one that I've tried to support all the positive No Man's Sky YouTubers, and I'm really looking forward to welcoming those people into the community and seeing what those people bring and the personalities that people will have and how they'll play No Man's Sky. And I'm just really looking hopefully towards the future of No Man's Sky as it comes out on Xbox. What do you think about that?
I think it's going to be really cool when new content creators show up making videos, and we're going to all be talking. You know, everybody's going to be, you know, doing their things throughout their day. They come home from work at night, and I jump on Cobra's subcast. I'm like, dude, have you seen this new YouTuber making No Man's Sky content? You know, we should go check out his videos. And then we all show up. We all welcome into the community. You know, check out content, share thoughts and stuff like that. That is what I think is going to be really cool, because it's like if I were to jump into a new game that a lot of people are part of, I would want to be welcomed into the community. It kind of showed, you know, this is what they've built over the course of 2 years. You got the Galactic Hub, which unfortunately is going to be reset again when the next update hits, which, you know, I think they've had it rough with the Galactic Hub having to completely relocate multiple times. But the Galactic Hub, you know, all the Amino Hub, all the apps, the pages, the communities, the content creators, whatever it may be, it's this huge community and this huge thing that people have created. On a lot of it, yeah, it's all based off No Man's Sky, but like the Galactic Hub, that was completely something that was never supposed to happen as far as Sean Murray and Hello Games. So something that nobody ever thought of would be a Galactic Hub, being able to chart your way through the stars. So I think when new YouTubers, new content creators show up, welcoming them into, you know, the community and just meeting new people, I think is going to be definitely something that I look forward to. And I'm sure there'll be people, like how it is with every game, who come in, start covering a game, and then boom, they explode on YouTube. And they're like, you know, almost like I didn't really explode. I mean, 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks is crazy when you start at 0,
yeah,
basically. But like, unless they show up like L Plays showed up out of nowhere, and he was like, yeah, Jared, I'm a big fan of you. Your videos are great. And then like the next month he had passed me in subscribers. I was like, L Plays, what the heck, man? You just showed up out of nowhere. You got a cool accent. What? That's not fair.
Yeah.
No, but
well, I interviewed L back when he had less than 2,000 subscribers, and back then I could tell that he had a lot of potential to grow. I told him that he had a lot of charisma and that he was going to be pretty big among No Man's Sky YouTubers, and I was right. He's 5,600 subscribers now or something, so I kind of called it on that one. So
yeah, he brought something that no other content creator really had. I mean, he did Let's Plays. Not a lot of people do Let's Plays on No Man's Sky. I really don't know why. That's like not a humongous thing. But he's just got a personality that I think nobody else on YouTube has as far as No Man's Sky goes. Like, he's super happy about every blade of grass in his videos. If you watch just this video, he's gonna know what I mean. Because every time I would talk to somebody new, or talk to somebody, I was like, and they'd mention L Plays, or be like, he's just such a happy guy about no matter what it is. And I think nobody else really had that personality towards the game. I am very positive, but I have a very monotone voice that doesn't really change with no accent, as far as like a cool like British accent or whatever. But so I think he brought to the table like something completely different, like a different viewpoint as far as Let's Plays. And you know, I don't know how I ended up seeing his first video. Probably just randomly, you know, looking through No Man's Sky content on YouTube, like I used to really do a lot. But yeah, he was cool to talk to, and now he's, you know, all over Twitter in our No Man's Sky chat group that we have. So we talk all the time now. So he's pretty cool. But I forgot what this topic was about. it just led up to talking
Yeah.
about L plays.
Sorry. So, yeah, that's about it for what I had to cover. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future of No Man's Sky and welcoming Xbox players. I really don't think there'll be cross-play with Xbox and PS4 and PC ever. So most likely the Xbox community is going to have to build their own hubs. Maybe they'll get with the Galactic hub people and make their own Galactic hub around the same place, or maybe the leaders of the hub will have Xbox, or some of them have Xbox, and maybe they'll start the Galactic hub on Xbox. Who knows? But it'll be really exciting to see how all that works out, how that's, going to build up over time. But anyway, I think that's about it. Was there any other final words you wanted to say, Jared?
Just something for you mainly. Just keep doing what you're doing here on your channel for sure, because even though I haven't really, I've always wanted to do like a collaborative video. It's always hard to kind of start collaboration videos because everybody kind of has their own time schedule. I've been trying to plan something with L Plays basically for a while, and it still hasn't happened. I'm shouting him out multiple times in this video. And same with Cobra, because everybody's so busy with their own thing. It was me and Syrian who really hit it off as far as collaboration. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing here on the channel. The base showcases are really cool. I think I did a base showcase. I was like, that looks like really fun to do, let me try it, and then, I ended up doing it. But once again, it falls under that like Let's Play category that I just, for some reason, can't really, I don't know, I can't sit in doing that. I just like the news and edited videos more often. So I'll leave the base showcases to you. These are pretty good. I can't believe the people, how do people build the stuff they build? Like, I thought base building would be something I love to do. I like it. I don't like the limit on building. That kills me. The limit on building, because I always build and I have a cool idea, and then I hit the limit and then I give up because I'm like, it's ruined. But the things people build are just, I always sit and I'm like, there's got to be a cool idea that I could do, and then I don't come up with anything, and then I see all these other builds, and I'm like, how do people come up with that idea? I wouldn't have ever thought to build that in No Man's Sky. But yeah, so anyway, keep doing what you're doing on the channel, because I do enjoy your channel.
Great, thank you. And I really want to encourage people to check out your channel if for some reason they aren't subscribed to you yet. I would think most people that know my channel would know about yours. But I really want to encourage people to check out your channel. And like you said, you have both humorous videos, and I like the time lapses and all the other content, the news and everything that you do that we've talked about. So people should definitely check out your channel for that. And so that's about it. This has been JustJarrod, but you can just call him Jared. I have been Mac. Thank you for joining us for a day, and we'll catch you in our future videos.
Have a good one.